Okay, let's see how this goes. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Meeting the Special Needs, the YouTube channel. I'm Shawnee. I'm your host for this video and this channel. Today, I wanted to talk to you all about sensory needs and specifically something called a sensory bag. Some of you may have heard this referred to as a toolkit. It's the more common phrase. But for me and my family, we dumped everything into one bag and thus a sensory bag. So I've entitled this video, I'm in my sensory bag. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, for those of you new to this channel or you just newly got your diagnosis, what is a sensory issue? Um, of course, it's something you can Google, but I'm going to just give you just kind of the layman's um, definition, basically, everyday language. So, sensory, of course, is referring to your senses, your five senses, and especially if you have a disability, our family, we deal with Aspergers and autism. So that means that certain for certain parts of your sensory system, your just all your senses combined, some things can be overwhelming for your loved one and child. So they may be sensitive to lights, buzzing inside of buildings. They may be sensitive to certain types of touch, certain textures, certain amounts of pressure. Um, that just certain every and first of all, let me go back and clear something up. Everyone has a certain sensory sensitivity. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Everyone on the spectrum, disability, or neurotypical, everyone has some type of sensory sensitivity. For instance, certain foods you don't like, or the most common sensory sensitivity is allergies. So, certain foods you're allergic to, you can't eat them, you have a sensory sensitivity. So, this is not something that is um, just designated specifically only to people with disabilities. That's number one. Sensory sensitivities are common. So, with that said, however, people with disabilities may have a sensory issue that is urgent, needs to be tended to right away, or it can just pop up like your allergies at any time. They can be seasonal, could be when you're around certain foods, but whenever they do pop up, they are urgent. So, this video is to help us get familiar with what sensory sensitivities are and address how we can both accommodate and become accustomed to being prepared to deal with sensory sensitivities. Okay. So, my daughter, we have what I have called again a sensory bag, and it's just full of knickknacks and tools that help her either calm down, be able lessen her anxiety, um, or just give her, a place to put her energy positively. And this is important because in her case, her anxiety makes it harder for her to speak. So, in order to help with that, we've collected things over time because sensory sensitivities take some time to learn. Just like again with the allergies, you sometimes don't know you're allergic to certain things until you eat them, or you don't know until you're around the allergen itself. In my case, I have an allergen against excessive dust. And for the longest time, no one took me seriously about this. And then I went to work at a bookstore and it was a little excessively dusty. Okay. No one thought to dust the ceiling lamps. And so enough dust collected to where it was actually starting to fall from the ceiling, landed right on my eyelid. shut both my eyes. I had to be driven home. So, and I had to take allergy meds. So you sometimes you don't know what you're allergic to until you're around the allergen. But once you know what your sensory sensitivity is, you have to then be prepared to address it at any given time. So some people carry EpiPens, but for me and my household, we have a sensory bag or toolkit. So I hope that first part helps you understand what a sensory sensitivity is. So let's get into what's actually in the bag. Um, for my daughter, we learned over time what she likes. Sometimes, um, just to lessen her anxiety, she just needs her thoughts to slow down. And so she needs something to grab her attention. And also, my husband is like this too. So it's hard to keep their attention for very long periods of time unless they are already focused on doing one specific thing. So one of the first things that we got her was the popular fidget spinner. And I don't know what's going on with this one, but you guys get the idea, right? This one might be a little rusty. There we go. Yes, fidget spinner. The second thing, and we always keep a supply of this, is Play-Doh. Simple, right? You can get it from Dollar Tree. Play-Doh helps with touch, touch. The fidget spinner, again, energy, attention, focus. She can focus on this. Also, tactical, sensory, what you can feel, what you can touch, which it also has that in common with the Play-Doh. Sometimes you want to feel something soft, sometimes you want to feel something firm. Um, the fidget spinner also, because of the kinetic energy, little sciencey term, um, real simple means movement. But when the fidget spinner moves, the inside vibrates as well. So that plays a part into what she's feeling, right? This next one is a oldie but a goodie. And I learned it not being a parent of someone with a disability. I learned it from my father. um, he used to, when he was stressed, which with two girls, it was quite often a lot. But when he was stressed, he always had either Benoit balls or a stress ball. So you just squeeze it, yes, right? And it gets that energy out, helps release tension. Um, Honestly, this helps when she's angry. When she's angry and she needs to squeeze something, or she wants to ball up her fist, or anything like that, because like she has emotions, right? She's not just happy go lucky all the time, nor am I expecting her to be. So we have to have something to address when she's angry. Um, Something else we have to expend excessive energy like that and release tension like this, that cannot fit in any toolkit that I've found, is a trampoline. We've had trampoline for years. So that's also a really good tip. If she needs pressure or weight just to help her feel grounded, if the situation just seems to be too much, things are moving too fast, her thoughts are moving too fast, people are moving too fast, someone is talking too fast, normally me, right? And she just needs to be stationary, or she just needs to keep her fingers busy, right? She needs to feel that sensation in her fingers. Maybe her fingers are stiff, or maybe she just needs to feel the soft, movable texture. We have these little beanie bags, right? And also, when she was younger, we had weighted blankets. We had ones for her lap, and we had full weighted blankets, which we learned about through a parent support group I'm in on Facebook. Wonderful, wonderful people. And there are plenty of places that donate weighted blankets. So just look it up for your community, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of places. But also now they're kind of on trend since autism is kind of a hot button topic lately. So you can either purchase yours or you can do a Google search in your own community for support groups that actually donate weighted blankets and beanies. Again, for texture. So um, we don't necessarily want our kids playing with sharp objects, right? But sometimes the sensation, that's the whole point with a sensory sensitivity is you want to address the sensation, right? And so this is just a little prickly little ball. I think she actually got it from the dentist and she wanted to keep it. So we have that. And if I'm even more correct, it's actually belonged to her sister, but she she took a liking to it. So it went in the sensory bag. Um also, so going back to the idea of keeping her mind occupied to lessen her anxiety and slow her thoughts down. Um, I'm pretty sure you've played Connect Four, right? Four in a row. Well, we took the chips from Connect Four and we just used them for regular board games or when we're having family meetings, right? She is one that she needs it to be done quick. Like having to answer questions gives her a lot of anxiety. So a system that I came up with was to take the chips and give everyone equal amount of chips. And each chip is a question that you can ask. Once you run out of chips, you have no more questions. And that helps the family meeting go even faster and even smoother and lessens her anxiety that she will have to answer a bunch of questions, right? One of the last things in our sensory bag slash toolkit is a goodie, and we learned it from our very first speech pathologist. And if you want more tips on speech therapy in the home and therapy techniques that you can use, I want you to visit meetingthespecialneeds.com or romancerecoverycounseling.com and sign up for our very first speech therapy seminar. It's coming up really, really soon. So sign up for that today. But this next tip comes from that course. And it's bubbles. Oldie but goodie. We keep a supply of bubbles in the house, right? Why bubbles? Why bubbles? How could that possibly help? Well, of course, number one, they're fun. And the quickest way to lessen anxiety is to do something fun, right? Also, though, the thing we specifically learned from her speech pathologist is the it helps to work all of this, the jaw muscles, the lips, the tongue, all of that goes into play when you're making a bubble. So if you can get her to practice making a bubble, then her when it comes time to speak, those muscles will already those that whole system will already be familiar to work with. And she's having fun while learning, and it was key in learning to get her to talk. Now, that's our sensory bag. There's only one other thing that I think I want to add to this video, and that is I have two beautiful children. Yes. So the sensory bag cannot only be for one child. However many children you have, however many loved ones you have to service or clients you have to service, be mindful of that in your toolkit. Just because someone has a disability whether visible or non-visible, it doesn't mean that people without disabilities can't benefit from those same services. So I have double of everything that I've showed you in my sensory bag, right? Because not only does my oldest daughter benefit, my youngest daughter gets to have fun with her sister. And it promotes an environment of inclusion, which then changes the world as we see it. Okay. And so all of that starts at home. Don't, as much as you can, don't separate. If you can include everybody and make it a family experience, I usually say we're an autism family. That's how I refer to it. We're a family who happens to have autism. My husband has aspergers, and my oldest has autism, and myself and my youngest daughter, we're here to love and to support them and include them in everything. They shouldn't be excluded. So that's my most that's the tip that I care about the most is make sure you include enough for all of your children, all of your loved ones, all of your clients. All of these things that are in my sensory bag were either donated, gifted, or bought at Dollar Tree. So these things are not hard to come by. Um, if you're in a special situation where even though they're at Dollar Tree, you just don't have a Dollar Tree budget right now. Google how to make certain things from home. These beanie bags can be made from home with things you already have in your house. Maybe rice, um, old curtains you're not using, blankets that are torn, old baby blankets that you're not using anymore. These can be made from home, made by hand. Um, Play-Doh. Um, there are versions of Play-Doh that can be made from home. Um, just all different types of things to address your child's sensory issues. Sensory sensitivity can be made from your home. Just Google it. And for more tips, you can visit you can visit the rest of the videos here on our YouTube page, or you can go on over to our website, meetingthespecialneeds.com. And for private coaching, please consider our Patreon. I'm Shawnee. This has been Meeting the Special Needs, and I thank you for watching. Bye.